Hey, Derek here. I just realized I was peaking audio throughout the whole recording. Bear with me, and sorry.
Get
Yeah.
18. If you really need a young girl, 18. Fine. You know what I mean? Hey, show me, before you send me a nude, send me a picture of your driver's license, and then we can go from there. You know what I mean? Don't send me anything but your driver's license.
You know who the smartest guy was from our sort of our generation that we grew up with? The smartest guy was George Clooney. Because George Clooney, he had like any chick that he ever wanted, but just like kept them like, certain age and never got married until he was ready to get married. And nobody gave a shit, right? Like people only give a shit when you get married, then you cheat on them, and then you're a dog, right?
Right.
So if you're not ready to get married, then just don't get married, and don't text young girls your junk.
Absolutely. I mean, that well said, because fuck, man.
All right. To be honest, I don't want to put any of this in the podcast.
No, that's fine. I don't care. It's kind of off-brand, I think.
We all don't know enough to speak intelligently on it, and I don't want to, I don't know, get involved in it. But yeah. Anyway.
Right.
All right.
I want to see Pro Jared in the thumbnail.
Well, you keep bringing him up, he's going to end up in there.
Yeah, he's gonna have to. He's gonna be dressed up as Sailor Scout, though.
When I first saw the photo of him today, I thought that was the Peanut Butter Gamer. I got them all confused.
I don't know him at all. I barely know Pro Jared. I know he exists. That's it.
I just know names or whatever. I forgot that he was in some Game Chaser videos, right? Pro Jared.
Yep.
I'm remembering it now. He was in the back of a...
He was in two of them. One is the one where they went to Canada. And then the other one is when they went to like a yard sale. This guy had sold Billy and Jay a bunch of stuff, and then they ended up going back to the same. It wasn't really a yard sale. It was a guy who had a bunch of stuff in his garage and he was bringing it down from the attic.
Coming back to me now. Okay.
And they went back to him the second time, and then they finished that episode going to some guy's business, and he was having them work on a play with one of their demo games or something. Like they had a demo, something like that.
All right, let's start the show.
Back on the market.
That's the takeaway. All right. Welcome to the episode of Dollar Dorks. This is episode 26. On this podcast, we aim to share video game buying and selling tips, give suggestions of games to watch out for, provide tips to how to fund your collection with your collection, and hopefully change the perception some people have of game sellers in the video game collecting community. I am Derek of Two Dorks. We have over here Chris, CWR2, my co-host, and our guest is Kevin, Buried on Mars. Finally have Kevin.
Yes, both times.
Hard man to rein in, right?
I've had to sit and listen to Bill on this podcast twice now.
Yep.
I'm not happy about it.
I think him and Eric are our only repeat guests.
Well, Eric I can listen to all day. Eric's okay. that William, I don't know.
William. All right. So what is new? Any conventions lately? We had Barry Game Exchange. That was a little while ago now, but was that wasn't April. That was last month, right? It was April. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
So just over a month ago. Man, time flies. Anything you've been to, Chris?
Went to the movies. No conventions.
You went to karaoke with Curtis a while ago too. I can't remember we mentioned that here.
Yeah, it was our last. It was a month ago. I'm gonna see Curtis and Complex this weekend. Not tomorrow weekend. Well, by the time you hear it, it'll be this weekend.
Complex is famous now, right? You know that. He's famous now. He's on Amazon Prime.
Oh, I didn't know that they. Oh, you mean because of because of Pixel Game Squad? Oh yeah, okay.
On Amazon Prime, yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, good for them. The Pixel Game Squad had their biggest episode ever recently.
I haven't watched in a while.
Well, they had this. It was the hugest find. I guess by hugest find, somebody invited them to their warehouse to check out their box games. But I guess that's a find. But anyways, it was. But
yeah, it's still something.
Well, I'm just joking. I mean, they're good guys. They went there. The guy brought them into their warehouse, Dusty Games or something like that. Came in to take a look at their stuff, and they videoed it. And apparently, that was the largest amount of views they've gotten for one of their videos. So good for them.
Neat. Cool.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, we're gonna hang out this weekend, and I don't know. Me and Curtis are gonna watch Game of Thrones, and I don't know. I think we're gonna go to the swap meet Saturday. Check it out. See what's up.
Forward to your Instagram photos of that.
Yeah, show them how it's done. This guy's, you know, they're gonna hate me. Be like, come on, it's 4 o'clock. Wake up.
Very good. Yeah, I should do that to my wife. Do some garage sales. How about your eBay sales last month? Wasn't that last month?
Yeah, I had I don't know, it was like 34, 30, I don't know, mid 30s, I think, sales. Did pretty well. It went on a rush one day. I sold like 9 items or something. It was like, must have been check day or something. I don't know what it was. Or I caught the eBay algorithm. I don't know. It was no repeat business. It was all just, what was that?
I think last month there was an eBay like 5% off coupon, maybe.
I don't know, maybe.
Also sales sometimes too, but
I don't know. I'm not quite sure why 5% would spark it up that much, but I don't know.
True.
I don't care what it was. I hope they do it again though. It was good.
Yeah.
A lot of profit made on not a lot of money put out, so I was happy with that.
Awesome. All right, want to jump into our last noteworthy deal, pickup, purchase, sale, any of the above? Starting with Chris.
My last noteworthy pickup was I found these two guys. So it kind of goes into what I always say about chat people up and everything, even if even if they don't have anything with them, talk to them a little bit. There's this guy, I bought a top loader off him, I don't know, probably like 4 months ago at a swap meet. And so we already had kind of like a history going. And I saw him a couple of months ago so it was like 4 months ago. And then 2 months ago, I saw him again, or maybe a month and a half ago, whatever it was. Saw him again. He had some more stuff. And one of them was a Wii U gamepad, which, that's kind of like a little uncommon to see at the swap meet. And I got it for $15. I ended up, one of my good sales so far this month was that. But anyway, we started talking, and then at the very last second, he tells, I just happened to mention Atari, and he goes, Atari, you like Atari? I'm like, yeah. He goes, I got a bunch of Atari games. I'm like, cool. Well, let's talk about it. And then his son out of nowhere is like, we got Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Halloween. I'm like, cool, man. So anyways, worked out a deal. It took a few weeks to pin him down because he works out of town a lot, but real nice guy, man. His name is Mike, just a real cool dude. And now apparently anything old he gets, I get first dibs, he says, because I was straight with him. Because that's one of the things that comes with honesty. If you know you're dealing with somebody and you want to be, I don't know, first off, you shouldn't really go out of your way to lie to people. You don't necessarily have to tell them, but you don't have to necessarily lie to them either, especially when people have phones. I mean, it's really quick. It's really easy to prove you to be a liar if you say, oh, this is worth that, and they whip out their phone and show you like, no, actually, this is what it's worth. I like to take the other approach, ask them what they're asking for, and if they start to throw out numbers, and I know we're already, the guy he thought they were worth like $600 a piece. Somebody told him that. I was like, well, it's not really worth that. And I was like, but look, I'll show you what it's worth. And then I showed him a series of completed sales.
Well, especially if he's aiming high. Like, if he told you, I'm pretty sure they're worth $20 each, then you'd be like, well, I'll take it.
Well, right, but that's not my job. I don't think that's being dishonest. I just think it's like, well, that's your price. I will pay it. But if he asked me point blank, what is this worth?
Then yeah.
Well, I mean, I might get out of the question, but I won't necessarily lie to them either. You know what I mean? I might just be like, I don't know. What do you think they're worth?
Or it's the time where you're honest with them and you tell them, I got to make a profit, right? Like, you're not going to sell it on eBay, so I will.
Well, yeah, because he tried to tell me that the guy was going to sell them for him. And I was like, well, then you should let him do that. I was like, but let me tell you, he's steering you wrong. Because they're not worth that. And are you aware of the fees that are involved? And there's, it could be a snag with a customer. I'm an experienced seller. So to me, I'm willing to take that risk. Are you? You know what I mean? If not, I could pay X amount of dollars. If you're good with that, I'm good with that. And he thought about it for 2 days and he called me up and said, I'm good with that. So we met. And then after that, he liked the way I dealt with him. And he said anything he gets, he told me, he has a big box of NES games at his house, and some of them are boxed. And when he pulls them out, I get first dibs. And it's like, well, I mean, it's like, you don't owe me nothing, but if you want to do that, that's great.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like, I ain't gonna hold it to him. You know,
soda, right?
yeah, it's like, wow. I had told him, I was like, you know, man, if you can make more money, I was like, you can make more money on these, but you know, Fresno isn't a great market for Atari, and your only market would be the internet. And if you don't have that skill set already, you know, it might not be worth your time to try to find it out, but maybe it is. And he liked the way I told him that, and he rolled with it. One of my tips are going to kind of spawn off on this, so I'll hold off on the rest of the story. But and I also got this big box Rob from one of my buddies on. This is another one of those things where like networking kind of comes into play. I already have a couple of Robs, but I didn't have the box, and the price was just too good to pass up. But
Gotcha.
Again, it's just one of those situations where just kind of throw out what you're looking for. And this guy, he knew I was looking for black box games because of one of my posts. So he hooked me up with his Donkey Kong, and so it was one of the ones I needed. I was really happy to get that. And then I noticed that he had that, and I'm like, "What's up with that?" And he's like, "Hey, let's work a deal out." I'm like, "Cool."
All right. And those ones you're keeping, the Atari cards you already have, right? You said.
Yeah, I already have them. Even though I have to either sell them quick or I'm going to be stuck with one of them, because I did notice something when I was messing around with them.
Variant.
Yeah.
Keep them both. Variant. You gotta keep them both.
So
I was like, where's he going with this? But that, yep.
So this one's mine, right? So you think, what's the difference, right? They both look the same, but in reality, my label was put on upside down.
Oh my God!
So
there you go.
I might have to keep the other one. So I listed it really high. So
because you don't want to sell it. That's why.
No, I don't. I figure, hey, if somebody pays for it, then
Oh my
fuck
God!
it.
I got so much respect for you, Chris, if you sell that.
I listed it real high, so and it's funny too because a couple of guys were like, "Well, it's kind of high." I was like, "You're right, it is. Don't buy it. Do me a favor, don't buy it."
How much are those? Like, what are they going for?
I think. Well, now I had this little debate with somebody who were like, "Well, a year ago." Well, you know what's funny is when people use keywords, about and around. Are not words that are very definite. See, I'm more of like a definite guy. I'll tell you, 6 months ago, it sold for this, right?
Well, especially if the data is in your favor.
Well, exactly. But if we're being straight with each other, let's be straight with each other. I'm getting, well, around a year ago, they were going for about $100. And I was like, well, if you mean like, when you say around, you mean like 2.5 years ago. And when you mean about, you mean like 150, then you're probably correct. But other than that, you're being dishonest because I've been tracking that particular game for a while because I wanted to buy it.
Oh, and I'm looking at a Halloween that's sold for $255. That's right, American.
And look how bad.
And it's terrible condition, man. Man, it doesn't even look like the same game.
Right, and look how nice this one is. Now the thing is they always have imperfections. You see how it has that little snag right there?
Yeah, but this one's got that. Plus, it's not red.
Right, but see, both of mine have the snag in the same spot because they were sloppy business practice. And also, you see like this white stripe right here?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm getting it in the thing. That's them not cutting it even, but they're all uncut. They're all cut uneven, so that actually helps authenticate them. And this board might be the whitest board I've ever seen, and that's another way to authenticate whether it's if it's a fake or not. The boards are white. They don't have dust covers in the end. They got these ridges because they used Activision cases, or like they got it from the same company. It doesn't have the Activision stamp in it, but they're the same.
Yeah, I didn't know that about those games. Those are not like first party. They're like third party or something. I don't know shit about them. So.
The thing about Atari is almost everything was third party. The only thing that was first party is there's a lot of first party games, but Activision became a third party developer, and anybody with there was people making some of the rarest games are like 3 copies because some guy made them in his basement, and a Atari age guys got together and decided that they were part of the set, probably because one of them owned one of them. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, yep,
Yeah,
this is right here. It's part of the set. It was made in Boston in 1984.
That's why Nintendo put so many restrictions on who could make
Mhm.
games for the system.
Absolutely.
They started the wholesale quality. You had to have an office. That was a big thing. And if you wanted to make games for Nintendo, you had to have an office.
Well, there's also the maximum too.
And you also had to buy
ahead.
the chips. You had to buy the chips from Nintendo and the cartridges from Nintendo.
But that office rule that stayed all the way until some point with the Wii. And
Really?
yeah, the guy, Cambren Studios guy, I'm blanking on his name. And I'm blanking on his name. He's the guy who made Retro City Rampage.
Okay.
And the first system he wanted to make that game for was the Nintendo Wii. But he had to have an office. So he was spending money on an office in Vancouver to make this game, just to put it out on the Wii. And then it ended up like, it eventually came out on the Wii, but it was the last system it came out for. Because of, it was just easier for him to, like the Vita market kind of opened. And so
Brian Provicano?
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
Okay. Just because you were curious, you were trying to remember it. I had to look it up.
No, that's great. That's great.
Yeah, that was crazy when he was telling that story. But he still had to have an office, and now they're pretty much open.
Well, and it already bit him in the ass too, because that little scandal of that guy had put out. I wish I had more specifics, but a guy recently, independent developer, put out a game, and it had some sort of hacking tool built into the game that he claimed was an Easter egg, and that it was there for like kids to discover, and maybe they can try to develop stuff with their parents or something. But Nintendo's like, nope, and pulled it. It's like, you have to disclose everything to us when we approve one of your games. Everything has to be disclosed, and so they yanked it. So the guy pretty much ruined himself over. It's not even something that, unless, well, I think it's interesting because the whole, how they found it. This idiot tweeted it out.
What game was it?
You know what? I'm trying to think about who talked about it. Was if you listen to the CU podcast, they mentioned it. But
it was a digital only game, I'm guessing.
Yes, it was a digital download, and it got pulled, and he was the one who spilled the beans on himself. He threw it out there, talked about it, and Nintendo's like, wait a minute, what? And then just ranked it right down. Which, I don't blame them. They got to protect their IP. I mean, there's a reason they're one of the smaller companies. I mean, obviously,
it was a hack tool. They might be protecting their own hardware too that way.
Correct, because hackers are already trying to expose or exploit the system as it is, and you don't give something like that.
Any of those companies would have done the same. Microsoft, Sony, Steam, whatever, they would have done the same.
Absolutely, I don't think it's just a Nintendo thing. I think it looks like Nintendo being overprotective like they normally are, but
yeah.
Sometimes they're right. Sometimes.
Right. I know. Hey,
you heard here first. Kevin said Nintendo is right sometimes.
Right. Sometimes.
I think it's a Nintendo supporter, but I think you could agree with them on this one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's continue on with our topics. Kevin, did you have anything you wanted to mention of a noteworthy pickup, deal, purchase, or sale?
I got to follow up the mighty Chris Roberts with my meager findings.
All right, I do too.
He's finding a rare Atari carts and black label complete in box Nintendo card. I found X-Men Legends 2 for the PS2 for $4. I'm going to flip that at the next Barry Game Exchange. That's awesome. That was my big find for the month of April and carrying over into May.
Okay,
that's it.
But that's I think I actually did a trade with Rambox for that, didn't I?
Did you?
I think so. I think I sent him X-Men Legends 1 and 2. I think that's what I sent him for something he sent me, or maybe it was just a gift exchange. But I was looking at it, I was thinking, damn, maybe I need to find one of these copies for myself. They look kind of fun.
Yeah, it's a fun game. It's a Diablo style game for the consoles, but you're in the X-Men universe, so you play Wolverine or Cyclops or Storm. Yeah. It's a fun game. I played through the first one a long time ago. I don't think I've ever finished the second one, but I'd like to go back and play through them again.
That's not something that would make it to Steam though, huh?
Not
Stuff like that on Steam.
Yeah.
Just because of the movie license, I think it's unlikely.
Unlikely.
Yeah. I mean, there was a PC version of the second game that did come out, and I think that was it. I don't think the first one came out on the PC. But the follow up to that series is on Steam. What is it called? Alliance, Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Yeah, 1 and 2. They're on Steam, and they're the same kind of games. They're like the spiritual successor to that series.
Okay, yeah, I do remember them. Yeah, so it's like a isometric team co-op type running gun, beat 'em up thing. Yeah. Okay, I remember that. Yeah, the Ultimate Alliance I've played. I think I played the first X-Men Legends, but not the second one. I think, but who friggin' knows? All right, and you already said you're planning on selling it, etc., how much you paid. All right, well then that's it. Nothing else.
That's pretty much it.
That's fine.
I bought some model kits I had a coupon for Michaels. That's it. That's all I bought. I haven't bought anything.
Are you primarily focusing on cars, or does it matter?
For the model kits?
On your models. Yeah, because it looked like you were building a car the other day, right?
Yep. What I want to do is I want to get like all the stuff from when I was a kid, like Knight Rider, the 18 van, Starsky and Hutch car, all those buildings. Well, I started on. So I bought a model kit. Like this model kit's like from 20 years ago, and it's like a 1930s hot rod. And my idea, what I was going to do with it, was make it into the ZZ Top Eliminator car.
Okay.
Since then, they've come out with an actual model for the ZZ Top Eliminator car. So this was like, because I hadn't done a model kit in like 20 years. I haven't done anything. This was one, like, I was like, okay, this is a perfect one to start on. So if I screw it up, it's not going to be that big of a deal, right?
Yeah.
And even so, like, it's not perfect. Like, there's some things that are wrong with it, but it's like a learning step kind of thing. So.
Okay, so now do you look down on people who put together the Snap model cars but don't actually use glue?
No, those are. I'd actually like to try one of those because they look a lot easier than the. I was gonna somehow try to make the connection with emulating video games and playing on. No, I think it's all good. It's all
right.
It's all
Fair enough.
I mean, both.
Come on, he's not Eric.
Yeah, I don't have rules like Eric does.
All right.
I mean, Lego's fine too, you know.
I love Lego. Lego's what I've been doing. Otherwise, I'd be doing models. I wanted to do models. About 10 years ago, I thought about having, like, I saw a model in the store and I'm like, oh, I remember building those as a kid, my brother and I, and like he would do one and I would do one. But yeah, Lego is where I'd rather spend my time because I can take it apart and do it again or do something different.
That's exactly how it happened to me. I was in Michael's and I don't even know why I went by the model kit. I think we needed something for something else. And I was like, oh, I remember like the model glue or something would work well for this. And I went through there and I went in there and they had like the Enterprise and Knight Rider. And I'm like, oh man, it'd be so much fun to get back into this. I left it all there. But then I started to look on YouTube, just, you know, where the hobby's at now and that. And, you know, they've improved all the tools. They've improved the model kits themselves. You know, they click back, like they fit together better. Like I remember, like the last one I did was a big Millennium Falcon, and I painted it all up, and then when I went to put it together, it wouldn't fit. It just, I
remember issues like that too. My brother had done Lamborghini Countach, I think.
Yeah.
And just things didn't fit right, and you just basically need to fill it in with glue or take a knife and cut it down to fit.
Yeah, you still might have to do that depending on how particular you are, but for the most part, the newer model kits have gotten a lot better, a lot more details in them. They'll give you like a backup sheet of decals. If you screw up one, you at least you got a backup kind of thing. Different options in that on how to put them together. Yeah, they've improved a lot, and so that kind of got me back into it. Now I've done my first model. I'm not completely finished it, but I'm already, you know, itching to do the second one as soon as I'm done this one.
All right.
Everything falls into model kit talk now with me.
It's turned into a Fandango here.
Yeah.
Okay, so my pickups, I picked up 26 VIC 20 games and a tape drive at a garage sale about 2 weeks ago. I picked them up for a pretty good price. What are you doing there?
It's making sales.
No, I thought the way you pronounced that Lamborghini was really off, and I just wanted to make sure I wasn't wrong.
Countach, isn't it?
Gosh, you're just wrong.
I'm wrong?
I think
Sorry
so.
about that.
Well, I'm not Italian, so I'm not going to pronounce it right.
Okay, go ahead. Carry on.
I am Canadian.
Okay, fair
You
enough.
mean the name of the car that you didn't say?
Oh, I'm not gonna say it because I'll probably accidentally say it the way you said it, and you can get in trouble in the States saying something like that.
Okay. Anyway, VIC 20 games, 26 of them, and a cassette tape or cassette tape drive, and a Commodore 64 programming disc or tape with it. Anyway, I picked them up at a garage sale for a good price, and someone in the Cartridge Club messaged me, said they wanted to buy it, so they're sold. Pending pickup.
Was there anything, any heavy hitters in that lot? Because every time I come across a VIC 20, it's
Astro Blitz was the most valuable game. I remember that, and it's $20 game, $17 is what it's worth. So that's the heaviest hitter.
I don't know if they have a heavy hitter in the VIC 20 library. I was just
I know nothing about them. I have no system to try them on. When I got there was definitely other resellers walking up on the sale, and after I put the picture on Instagram, CJR messaged me or replied on mine and said that he had picked up his Dreamcast there too. So, and the guy wasn't selling the VIC 20 at that time. So, yeah, kind of tells me it was probably unlikely that I would, or it was lucky that he
been there. Sure, because CJR buys everything. So,
yeah, and the guy
I
that
don't think he would have left
there when I was there bought a PS3 for $60. So, I mean, he overpaid, and then when he saw the box I was carrying, which I had just picked up before he arrived at the sale of the VIC 20 stuff, he said, "Shit, I wish I had saw that." So
you should have said, "You can see it right now, $100. Make a quick sale
to get out of there first." So I bought it from doesn't see me do that, but yeah. Well, it's already sold, so it's fine.
Well, you could be a little more finesse there. You could. Hey, come over here, buddy. Anyway, whatever. You got it sold to somebody, a member. That's good.
Yeah, I'm happy. I actually picked it up with either like Kevin or Bill or Joe in mind, thinking one of them's going to want it. Because
Bill and Joe have been kind of getting into it, haven't they? I've seen them.
Been over who was the one that had it as a child, whether it was both one or neither. Or
either of those posers had it as a child. I still have my VIC 20 and Commodore 64 from when I was a kid. And
you have an original monitor?
No, I don't. I've never had the monitor. I always had it hooked up to.
I love those monitors, man. These look really
cool. Yeah, they were great. My dad used to work on them, because my dad was like a fix-it repair guy, and people would bring those monitors. They'd have problems with their Commodore 64, VIC 20, and they would just bring the whole thing over. So when I was a kid, I'd be able to play with the whole everything. They people,
awesome.
All rich folk who had everything. And that monitor was just beautiful.
Yeah, I remember being in high school, we had two of those monitors hooked up to a manual editing station for videotapes, where you had a dual tape set up and you queue up the video and record it onto the other tape. And they had two of those monitors sitting there being used for that. And that's my memory of those monitors. And I'd love to get one just for that, let alone playing games on it.
So were the VIC 20 games cartridges or tapes?
All cartridges. There was one tape, which was a Commodore 64 start programming with Cortex and microchips is what it's called, which sounded like character names to me. I don't know.
I still have my tape deck too.
Yeah, see, there was a tape deck in here.
But the games that I tried to make when I was a kid.
Well, let's move on to our break where we put in an ad for Cartridge Club podcast. We'll be back.
Hey there, this is Josh, also known as Frantic from the Frantic Thoughts podcast. Today, I wanted to recommend the wonderful YouTube channel by Caleb J. Ross. Caleb makes videos about video games and the surrounding culture around them. His videos are thoughtful, endearing, and insightful. If you, like me, enjoy a more philosophical take on video games, check him out at youtube.com/CalebJRoss. Don't just play games, think games.
He'll be back around 10, probably, right?
Yeah.
Oh, he's got to plug in his phone? Or his laptop? He's got to plug it into power.
I see. Run low on the juice.
Wheeze in the juice. You know what that's from? No?
No.
Encino Man?
Oh, I saw that once.
It's random things I remember from random movies, you know?
Yeah.
I really liked Pauly Shore at that time because I was like 12, right?
I was
That's
gonna say
something I'd never say. You never hear me say.
It was so bad. But
See,
as a
but-
kid, I can understand.
Yeah.
See, yeah, Chris and I are like closer in age, so that's why.
Yeah, like
feel-
Pauly Shore was always a douche, man. Like for me, like I couldn't imagine. Like all I think of is him wasn't he in that stupid Biodome movie or the Son-in-Law, another one like Son-in-Law or something. And,
They're terrible, but I love both of them.
right, but I mean sometimes there's movies that are just so bad they're good, like the.
Tiffany Amber Thiessen, didn't it? That was one. I'm trying to remember if that was Tiffany Amber Thiessen. And she was, you know, from Saved by the Bell days, I was still obsessed, right? What year did that come out? Son-in-Law was 93.
But the you know, Pauly Shore was such a douche.
Yeah.
And you know what's weird too is like I imagine he was so much older than they portrayed him as too.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like,
he
I
was.
imagine he was like 45 and he was playing, 20-year-old roles.
That's what they did back in the day, man.
Well, yeah,
was
because
older.
like Dylan McKay, in high school, but the real actor was like 26 or something,
Yeah.
27.
Was it one of the Power Rangers, like 32 or something?
Yeah, I think so too. It's like, wow, that's crazy.
So in Son-in-Law, Pauly Shore was 6 years older than Tiffany Amber Thiessen. Not that that's the chick he was with, but that's just the ages I looked up. The chick he was with, he was only 3 years older than, if I'm reading this correctly. Yeah, 3 years older than. So he wasn't that much older than the rest of them.
Well, in spirit he was, because he was
In spirit, but-
He was old enough to know better.
right. Like,
Right. And we're back. I'm sure I'm going to put some of that in there. All right. So the next topic or next section is what you're selling. The order is me. Yeah, what are you selling? Why did I put that in the wrong section? Oh, well. I have nowhere else to talk about that. So
you gotta burn your
talk about
spreadsheet.
here. I'll just talk about it here. No, I just put this in the wrong section. I put it under what are you selling, but I don't really have anything interesting to sell or selling. But I did just sell something today on eBay. So I picked up on Kijiji an extra HTC Vive headset and the link box, the HDMI box and power box and USB and headset and cables, because it had a upgraded cable for me. The HDMI or the HTC comes with 3 cables that go to the headset, but they made a wire later that was just one, and that came with the newer versions. So I wanted the newer cable, which cost $65. It came with, basically, if I was buying the headset for this from Kijiji here, $65 is what it's worth. But it came with a spare headset and the link box, and I paid $100 for it. So I swapped out the cable to put my older one in it. And then I realized the headset and link box are 2 years newer than mine, physically manufactured 2 years newer. Not much changed between that, but I just figured I'd get the updates in the hardware, which did improve some stuff with the actual drivers, but that's a whole other topic. Anyway, so I got basically an all new updated system for me and took my replacement or my old parts and just posted them on eBay today for $210 and sold within 4 hours. So $210, I paid $100 for it, and I upgraded all my own stuff. So, yay. That's my story. It's not even story time, but yeah, I picked it up thinking about just taking the cable out and flipping it. But when I realized all the other hardware was newer too, I grabbed it all, and it works great. So
it's interesting how that like selling stuff like that piecemeal can actually be more beneficial than selling the whole.
It's so weird.
product.
And I didn't expect this to be worth it, but I checked eBay before I bought it just to make sure that I would at least break even. And the reason why this guy had what he had available for sale was because he had bought the HTC Vive Pro, doesn't include the controllers and sensors. So he used his ones from this kit. He actually said it was cheaper for him to buy the regular HTC Vive with all of the accessories and the Pro as just the headset. Bought both of those and then just not use the regular Vive headset at all. Was cheaper than having bought the Pro in its own kit. I think the Pro in its own kit was hard to find or something. So anyway, he was happy to get $100 for this because he was already ahead. So I was surprised that there weren't enough people doing the same thing, that there would be an abundance of spare headsets out there. But apparently it still was worth the money. So I priced it low, expecting it to sell fast because I was in the 100 and I've had it for, I think, 2 months. Yeah, it was February that I bought it. So almost 3 months. No, yeah, 2 months. 3 months. Yeah, 3. Anyway, I was hoping to get rid of it quick. So I priced it low. Everybody else was around $250 or a little higher if they had the other upgrades on it. So since mine had none of the upgrades and I wanted to go quick, I just put it for $210. Yeah. All right. Next on this section is Chris.
You know what? Other than the video games I talked about, my other big highlight would be okay. So I went to a yard sale, right? And I looked down and there was a bunch of crappy toys. And I noticed something, and I'm like, I bet you that's worth something. And I didn't even look it up, and it had a $2 price tag, so I went ahead and bought it. And it's this T-Pain. Like, if you want to sound like T-Pain, the rapper, I guess it does an auto-tuning. And this is what you actually won. It's a $45 microphone. Like, you won my Guess This Prize contest.
Yeah.
Put up every now and then. And that should be getting your way soon.
Cool.
I had a little delay on the shipping, but it's in the mail. But yeah,
you tried to send me email.
Yeah, no, I would have if I could have, but it was actually cheaper just to send it regular
letter,
like a letter.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
You did win one of these, or on your way, Kevin. If
Nice.
You play along, you have an opportunity to win one per household. So
okay, $45.
It's too late.
Oh.
Next time.
Oh,
only one guess per contest, and that's
Rambox won 2 contests now. You know that, right, Kevin?
Yeah, he only gets one.
I know, but he won twice. That's just Kevin needs to beat him.
He needs to step it up, man. He's showing you up, Kevin.
well, you could send me Rambox's second magnet. Okay.
In theory, I could have, but I won't.
There you go.
Still one per household.
One per household. Yeah.
Yeah. Rambox forfeits his second win.
Fox and I don't live together, right? We're actually.
He forfeits his second win. He can't have the second one and pass it to someone else because he already lost it.
Pass it to me. I'll take it.
Right.
All right.
You got caught on a technicality there, Kevin. Sorry, buddy.
Nothing else interesting you're selling on eBay?
Not this month. I mean, I have a ton of stuff to list, but I've been very but I'm really a lot of times around this time of year, because I'm gonna have a big vacation coming up in July, so I like to kind of hold back some of the items that I don't think are gonna be quick sellers. Like I know there's value there, and I got it really cheap, but I kind of just throw them in a box, and that box gets really big, and then I get really bored, and then I list like 50 items in an afternoon.
Yeah.
I think that's what's coming.
I tend to put things off like that myself.
But and then what sucks is sometimes I end up talking myself in. Like I got a Xbox 360 for like $10, right? And it had some games, and I didn't really care about the games, but it was really nice condition. And I've never even played an Xbox 360. But I have some like good games for them, like some of their exclusive games, and I'm like, well, I don't know. Do I want to own a Xbox 360? Like I might actually end up keeping it. So,
I would. I like them even just for media playback too.
yeah, I mean, I have a PS4 and I have other stuff, but a
Yeah,
cheap
the
one or
Xbox 360 is so
different
cheap.
TV.
I've got one in the garage, one in the bedroom,
Right.
and then one downstairs. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that, like alternate rooms or different TVs or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I even had
Plus,
the one
it's
in the
cheap.
garage.
I mean, if you're playing a DVD, why not play it on the cheaper console? It's not going to come out any better, and you're only going to burn up the motor on the more
yeah, it's
expensive
true. And
items.
if you got a slim one, then it's small too.
Yeah,
I have one of the
it's the
TVs.
better-
The TV in the garage. I actually plan to take out to the patio a couple times this year in the summer. Take it out to the deck out back, which would be nice. So get an
When
Xbox
you're
out
outdoors,
there.
you might as well watch TV, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, the kids playing in the backyard, I'll get bored and then want to watch something.
You don't want to interact with those things.
I interact with them enough. I noticed your Halloween has 10 watchers on eBay, by the way.
Right. Go ahead and feel free to watch it too. Put the heat on. Since you're already there, click watch.
True.
Ain't gonna hurt you.
I think
Don't cost you.
Send offer. $20.
I honestly, that'd be a tip I would give too. If you have people who want to send you offers, go ahead, because you don't have to take them. And when you're in the desktop mode, it will actually say like pending offers.
Oh, interesting.
So it kind of, if somebody's on the fence and they see that you've gotten offers or you have a pending offer or you have a lot of watchers, there's a fine line though. I don't know. I have a theory on it. I don't know what that line is, but there's having no watchers and then there's having too many watchers. Because if you have too many watchers, that might mean your price is wrong.
Yeah, I can see that.
Why ain't the buyers?
Like these, right? Your price is high.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But
that
there's also a make offer feature, and I haven't gotten any. So I kind of think it's one of those situations where there's some people that are either waiting for me to drop it or they don't have the money to buy it and they don't want to forget about it. So
I offer such things when I have one to sell myself too, right? I use it as a reminder for myself to list my own.
Mm-hmm.
And what price range to list it at.
Yeah, so. Yeah, because not every watcher's a buyer. I mean, most watchers aren't buyers. They're just, for whatever reason, they want to watch it. Maybe they're a seller. Maybe, like I said, they have the same item. They're waiting to list it. They want to see if it sells.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe they have the item and they don't want to sell it, but if yours sells for that, then they'll come back later and say, oh, well, this is what it's worth. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what their motives are. I know my motives are typically when I watch something is I'm interested in it. I'm just not interested enough to buy it at that price. And I don't want to forget about the item in case I decide to look it up later and I can compare it to other items that are listed and see if the market has changed. But, or I'm broke and I don't want to buy it then. And I come back when I have some money in my PayPal. So
that happens. All right. Kevin, anything you're selling? Or you just sell it? Very Game Exchange, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. That was the last time I sold anything, so I don't really have. I mean, I could tell you what I sold at the Very Game Exchange.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. Like,
what's the most expensive thing you sold there? I know you said you took some Dreamcast games, but I don't know what.
Well, I sold my Famicom there. I put that on the table as a kind of a thing to attract people to my table, which worked out really well. I put it right at eye level, and a lot of people were coming to the table just to see this Famicom, right?
Neat.
And I had to put a price on it, so I put something ridiculous on there.
Okay.
I went to eBay, and they were going. I mean, it was reasonable. It was reasonable, but they were going for around $50 or $60 for one. So I said, you know what? I'll put $80 on it. And
honestly, at the Very Game Exchange, that's not unreasonable. Some people do that. They go above eBay.
Well, and I didn't really want to sell it. I just kind of wanted to, like, this would be nice. Like, I was playing a trick, like get people to come to the table, you know? Yep. And somebody came up to the table and said, would you take 75 for it? And I'm like, damn, I didn't. Yeah, I really didn't want to sell it, but $75 sounds really good. So that was the most expensive.
Now, was that a gift from Rambox?
Yes, but here's what happened with it. Okay, so I found out that the family, and I told the guy who bought this too, that it only works on channel It's like 92 or something like that.
Oh,
It doesn't work on like channel 3 or 4. So, and even at that, it's not every tuner that it works with. I have my Sony Trinitron TV, and it won't, even on that channel 92, or sometimes it's 93 or 94 or whatever. I flipped through all the 90s. It wouldn't work. Now it would work with my DVD burner. If I had the DVD burner hooked up, and then I hooked up the Famicom there, then I could play it. So if I wanted to play something on the Famicom, it was a pain in the ass. I'd have to pull up the DVD burner, pull up the Famicom, and then hook all the stuff up, figure out which channel. Yeah, leave it connect all the time. But then, yeah, no, it wasn't going to happen because I really only have a couple of games for it. So at Christmas, or no, sorry, Black Friday, Stone Age Gamer in the States, that website had their Black Friday sale, and they had a Famicom adapter for the NES on sale.
okay.
It was like $15 or something like that. So I picked that up, and I'm like, yeah, this works. So
Done. Yeah.
I really didn't need the Famicom anymore. So
And the cords on the controllers are so short.
Yeah.
And you can't even put extensions in, right? Because they're hardwired.
Everything's all hardwired in there. And if the controller breaks, then you're kind of screwed unless you want to open it up and start resoldering wires and whatnot.
I mean, that sounds fun, but
yeah. So I really wasn't planning to sell it, but because they almost, got offered the price that I was asking, I said, okay, what the heck? I like $75, I guess, more than this Famicom. So.
And was that early in the show, or was that a little bit later that you didn't need to attract people anymore?
It was about midway, at the midway point. So it was at that point. I don't know if you weren't really selling. Like, I know you were kind of behind the table, but
yeah, I was helping Josh, and he was letting me put my stuff on his table. So
at this one, it was a little bit different. There seemed to be like this big rush, and then it kind of like petered out, like a little bit towards it. And it was just when it was starting to peter out.
Yep, it's a good time to sell something like that.
Yeah, this guy, like, he came around like 3 or 4 times, looking at it. He had his 2 friends were like, yeah, I get it, and then I think one of them said, well, offer him this, and then I think he offered me a little more than what his friend said to offer me, and
that's completely all right.
Yeah. So yeah. But
how do you like the experience of the haggling from the seller point of view?
Oh, I love it. I love the whole thing. I know, like, I got I guess caught slipping a couple of times because I know to mark everything up high. At least $5 more than what I'm willing to take for it, because everybody's going to lowball you $5, and then a few people that don't. Hey, great, whatever. Here, if you want to take this at the sticker price and whatever. So everything that I had, I really didn't reprice everything from the last Fairy Game Exchange. There was a couple of new items I put out there, and I forgot to do that on a couple of items. And of course, those were the items that someone came up and said, and offered me, like, I had a PS4 game that I said, well, if they'll take $15 for this, so I put $15 on it. And of course, somebody came up and said, would you take 10? And I'm like, oh, damn, I should have put 20 on there. But whatever, even at $10, I was still making money off this game that's just going to be sitting there collecting dust. So you got to be motivated to sell, so I really like it. I like the whole thing. This one I was so busy at, I didn't really have time to go and look at other tables and buy anything. My wife Sarah bought me Ash versus Evil Dead Funko Pop. And that was pretty much it. I didn't buy any games or anything because I didn't have time. I went around quickly to look at some Atari games, and there was only a couple of vendors that had it. They had, like, their games were just way overpriced. They were looking like $20 for Pitfall 2, and I know that's a hard game that people are looking for, but I'm looking at this. I would give you $5 for it. That's all I'm looking to spend on at the most for an Atari game.
You looking for Pitfall 2? Is that what you said? Because I got that in the.
I'll give you $5 for it.
$5?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Shipped.
No, don't worry about it. I'll find it up.
We could do a trade.
I know I got Hero. Well, you have that now, right?
I have Hero. Yeah, I thought you sold Hero. I wanted the box. I was trying to get the box from old that dirty hippie friend of yours, J Rock. Yeah, couldn't get it though. I sold it to
more
you.
of a rocker than a hippie, but
I know. I was trying to think of something else, and I was focusing on his hair. I didn't want to be mean. I was going to say scumbag or something, but you know, he's not a scum. He's a good guy. I miss J Rock. I used to enjoy his daily rocking with J Rock, rocking
Between
the hard place.
Yeah.
I was surprised to see him at the Buried Game Exchange. I did not think he was going to show up for that. So
I think the main reason is his mom lives in Barrie.
It's over there to scam on your girls when you guys are out shopping.
Yeah,
come on. J Rock knows angles. That guy ain't stupid.
Yeah,
you know, these dorks are gonna be all over there buying games, and he's gonna go over there talking to your ladies. J Rock.
His mother also lives in Barrie. I think it uses an excuse to visit her.
Yeah,
which is good. And his brothers all come too, actually.
Yeah,
not staying at his mom's house no more, right? He's out then.
Oh yeah,
Okay. See, he did a video. I'm not out of school here. He did a video or pictures of him in the basement or something. It looked kind of cool.
He was at his sister's house for a while there. I don't know.
One of those houses he was living in the basement. I thought.
Yeah, it was his sister. I think he talked about taking care of the kids and stuff there.
I wish I lived in a basement, to be honest. No. Someone wants to put me up in their basement and quit my job and just live on a couch in the basement. That sounds like paradise.
All right. Next section is the tip corner. Any tips to share, buying, selling tips, or anything people do that annoys you, or where do you find deals? We're starting with Kevin. If you got anything, again, don't feel pressure.
I'm gonna have to mute myself for a second. So start with someone else.
No worries. Okay. So then it's on to me. I didn't have any tips. I totally forgot to bring a tip. Yeah, I mean, it was. We'll go with my HTC Vive tip of having upgraded my own thing and sell off the extra. But I mean, it's not a great tip because you got to find that deal. No, I don't have anything. I got nothing. This is terrible. But Chris, you want to save the day? You said you had.
Well, okay. So when I bought those games, I mean, all right, I'm gonna give you two angles to look at this. All right, one is if it's something that you really want to sell, and you know there might be some people out there who want it, and you are the kind of person to succumb to feeling guilty or bro prices and all that kind of stuff, you might not want to post your stuff on social media until after you've done the deal. Because a lot of times when I pick up cool stuff like that, I get flooded with a bunch of like, I need that. And I get it. And I'm not above hooking up friends and all that, but there comes a time where when you're buying something, you're buying it strictly for the investment, right? And that's exactly the reason I bought these. I don't mind trading them as long as I'm getting the value of the maximum price, not the value of what I paid. Because then I wasted my time. You know, there's time and effort that goes into these deals. I mean, I make them look easy, but in reality, I mean, I drove 20 miles or 15, 20 miles. I mean, that's gas money, and gas right now is $4 a gallon in California. So there was time and money. I mean, it wasn't free. The guy didn't walk up and hand them to me in my home. You know, I ATM fee and that, and, there's other little hidden stuff in this, right? But ultimately it's, sometimes these scores only come around once a month or once every couple of months, and you have to maximize it if you're doing it for profit, and which I am. You know what I mean? Like, and you too, like you buy stuff to build up your collection, right? Well, sometimes I'm buying stuff just to pay the power bill or have extra money, or my kids got a graduation, or my daughter wants to go roller skating or something. I don't know, whatever it is, money's money, and sometimes you got to make it. So I would say if you have issues telling people no, don't put it online. Now, if you don't have issues telling people no, then be straight with them. And sometimes you're going to hurt feelings. I know one guy, I mean, I think he's a really cool guy, but I know he's a little bummed out that I didn't want to sell it for the price he thought it was worth. And that's his issue, not mine. I mean, I hope he's not mad, but I mean, the case is if you could get it for that price you think it's worth, then get it. But you're not going to get this one. Yeah. And whereas on the other hand, like Curtis showed some interest, and I told him, and he was like, "Oh, dude, I totally understand. Get your money." So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, I think it's just best just to be straightforward with people. If they're your friends, they should understand. I mean, if I'm in a position to hook up, I do it all the time. I constantly help people. And hell, I'm selling a box of magazines for Curtis right now. I mean, he gave me a magazine out of it, but ultimately, I know I'm putting a lot more effort and time and, you know, ink and, you know, there's all kind. I don't know if what I'm doing is worth what I got, but I'm doing it to help out my friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And I
That's what
don't mind
figured.
helping out people but there's sometimes where you have to be like, this is a business transaction here, and I'm sorry, you know, I can knock off fees, I can work out something, but ultimately if we don't value it the same, there's no deal to be made. So, you know. And
Yeah.
maybe you know, a lot of times you lose some translation in text. Maybe he didn't care. Maybe he's like, whatever. But I didn't get that vibe. Got real icy real quick. But you know, it's okay. I mean, I know he was probably disappointed, and I understand that. But you know, I can't just give away opportunities. I mean, they only come around. You know, like this is the way it is. Plus, you know, when you want to trade and somebody's got something rare and they want something rare, well, a stack of Mario Duck Hunts aren't going to get it done. You know what I mean? Like, I have to have something in the trade pile if I want to, you know, when you're on the more on the higher end of trading. You know what I mean?
Yep, it's how uncommon they come up, right?
Right. I mean,
to do with
that's
it.
what I'm saying. So try to maximize your situations, and if you don't want to get in those awkward situations, like I put myself in a lot, then just don't put it on social media until after you sell it. Then you could brag it, and then when they're like, "Hey, I want it," like, sorry, man, it's already gone. You know. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, I have a tip too now. I kind of was thinking about it. I was going to say this earlier, but I didn't know if it was a good one. It's not a great tip, but it's kind of reiterating about being nice and polite, friendly with people, professional in your messages. I had a guy on Kijiji who he had something I wanted. Is not even for video game stuff. It's for a video card to fix my sister's computer. But I just messaged him and said, you know, I wanted to buy it for what he was asking for because it's already a good price. And he replied back to me saying, sure, come over. Here's my address. Here's my apartment number. Here's my buzzer code. When I got up there, he said, you know, I don't usually give people my buzzer code or even where my address is. I usually meet them somewhere else. But he said he could tell by my messages that he said, I could tell you were legit, but what he meant was I could tell you were trustworthy and you were not just some loser or some idiot off the street who's going to not show up and all that stuff. So about basically being professional and you know, clear with your messages, replying fast was one thing he said that he could tell that I was not going to be someone who falls through because of, and then we just started talking, shooting the shit in his apartment, talking about video games and computers and hobbies. And he likes video games. I gave him a little education on what, you know, stuff's worth. I might have an Xbox 360 he might want to buy. I actually recognized his name on Instagram or on Kijiji as well. It showed up one way as one name, but then he had replied and it showed up a different way one time. So I recognized his name as me having done with a deal with him before. So I found it in my email, and it was 3 years ago. I had bought a GameCube off of him, and he met me in a parking lot while we were both garage sailing. Like, just out of nowhere, I found this guy again. He had something I wanted, and now we're on good terms, and he gave me his personal email address, and I'm going to watch all the stuff he's selling now because maybe he'll have something else I want, and maybe I can also get an Xbox 360 sold to him, and I'll probably hook him up with a deal because I'm pretty sure I got one of my Xbox 360s really cheap, so that'd be good for him.
And also, maybe if you keep the line of communication open, he might just go to you first before listing anything.
That's true, yeah.
You might try to finesse that situation. If he thinks you're a straight shooter and everything, just tell him, hey, man. And then also another angle, and I even did that with Mike. I told him, I was like, even if I don't want to buy something, I can help you. I can tell you what it's worth.
Yep.
You know, and I did that with that guy that big score I did in at that thrift store, and I told him exactly what everything was worth, and he was fine with it, and he gave me a sweet deal. Some guys, they just want to know they're not getting screwed over. You know, they don't mind helping, you know, giving, meeting you halfway. Because a lot of these guys, like Mike and that other guy at that store, they're resellers too. So they know you have to make some profit. They just don't want to give away something that's worth $100,000 and, you know, show up on the news looking like a fool because they sold a Billy the Kid picture that sold for $1 million or whatever, like they did locally. There was somebody in Clovis. They bought this picture out of the box. Story. Yeah, there was a box of old photos, and this guy was sharp enough to recognize that it was Billy the Kid, and it
sounds familiar. I saw that somewhere.
Yeah, it was an undocumented photo that no one ever had any other copies of, and he bought it. And I think it sold for like 1-point-something million, and he paid like $1 for it. And you know, can you imagine the seller who sold it? You got to feel like the biggest idiot there is, but you know, it's the way it goes. You should know what you're selling. I don't know what they could have did. Maybe scanned everything. Google image searches on it or something. I don't know. There had to be some
didn't exist, then it's going to be hard.
Well, but his face is still his face. I mean, you might have been able. You could have took a picture of it and scanned it in like a searching app that searches out images. It might have been able to find them in a different image.
Most of them go by. They don't usually go by facial recognition. They usually go by how close the image is to another image.
Well, true, but I've taken a picture of a painting, and it pulled up just even in the eBay app, it pulled up something that wasn't the exact same painting, but was the same picture. It was just in a different thing. It was smaller. One was what I had was like an 8x10, and what it showed me was like a 5x7.
But it was still the same photo. And if this photo has never been shared before,
it was like a matter of fact, I just did it with a music box, and the music box came up, and it was something that was really close to it. It was made by the same make. It was painted differently, but it still had a very similar look to it. But it was from the same series. Not a photo box, music box. I'm just saying it's not always going to work. If you're on, there's other ways to find out.
Yeah, if you have a photo that you're wondering what it's worth, definitely do that kind of thing. Right, but I think with this instance, because it wasn't anywhere else, that probably wouldn't have worked. Because there's no method to go with the photo. That's all.
It might not have, but you also they might have been able to put that out in a group and said, "Hey, does anybody recognize this?" Like a photo group, and someone might have told them, and they might have been able to find out. But then again, they might have just looked at it as like a box of 100 photos that didn't mean nothing to them.
You got to do that with every single one of them.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. No, it has to do with knowing a lot about a lot of things, right? And that's where like the antique seller people come into play. Bill had recommended that Curiosity Inc. YouTuber who had bought a hoarder house of a pottery lady and was cleaning it out and selling off stuff, but that guy seems to know a lot about that kind of stuff. I think he might have actually been the one who mentioned that Billy the Kid photo in one of his videos.
Well, it's just like we had Jay on, and he has the group, and within that group there's a bunch of different resellers, so it's always good to kind of be in these kind of groups, even if they become stagnant. Sometimes they do, but a lot of times you get into these very active thrifting groups. Or just reseller groups in general, and you can put something up and say, "Hey, does anybody know what this is?" And people really want to be helpful. And granted, they're going to try to like, "Hey, I'll buy it from you," but you don't have to. You know what I mean? Like,
Cast has a forum where they have that too. Like, they have a whole section for what is this,
right?
Yeah, and people help share what it's worth as well. Pretty cool. All right, you back, Kevin?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, you have any tips?
I was just enjoying the show. Well, my tip might seem kind of stupid, but I just recommend that people check out coupons. Coupons, when you think of them, you think of like, your mom at the kitchen table cutting out coupons out of the newspaper. But times have changed. You can just go like right on the company's website, and they'll have coupons right on there. You don't even need to print anything out. They'll scan it right off of your phone. So Michael's, for instance, they have it's just a perennial coupon. It's always one item, 45% off or 40% off.
Sometimes it goes up to 50.
Sometimes, it depends on when it is. But you don't need a flyer. You just be standing there in the store. Just check on your phone before you buy something. Just check on your phone, and like for instance, last time we were in Michael's, I bought a couple of model kits. And it was one item each, right? So of course I go through the checkout, and my wife went through the checkout, and I went through the checkout. So And the cashier knew exactly what we were doing, right? Because my wife
I've had those cashiers offer the coupon before
Yeah.
at Michael's.
Okay.
Where they're like, "Do you have a coupon?" I say no. They're like, "Here, just use this one." Like,
Right.
Yeah, they're
well, we
tired
both
of the
had
line getting held up. It's
Yeah.
like, come on.
Too bad.
Get
Well,
this-
tell them to get their coupons ready too.
right.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So my wife goes up with the phone. She has the coupon on the phone, and I can hear the cashier just giving her the whole spiel. Hey, do you want to join the Points Club? And my wife's like, okay, fine, I'll join the Points Club. If Kevin's going to be making me come here all the time, I guess we might as well join the Points. And so she signs up for all that and it goes through. And then when I go up and I got like the exact same coupon on my phone, and she bought a model kit and I buy a model kit, and she just looked at me and she didn't even give me the spiel or anything. She just knew it. Cash
I'll use her account.
So yeah, even if, you're at Home Depot or whatever, before you buy something, just go over to their website and just check and see
Yeah,
if
a lot of websites like Rona and Lowe's, I think, if you go to their websites,
Yep.
First time you visit it, it'll pop up saying sign up for our newsletter and get a 20% off coupon right now in your email.
Yeah.
And
Even
Target,
if it's like $5 off,
Target has the Cartwheel app.
Yeah, we talked about that with who was that with Jay?
I don't
or was that
remember
with-
who. I don't
Yeah, I don't
think
remember.
Jay would talk about
No, it
Cartwheel,
wasn't.
But somebody talked about it. But yeah, it might. You know what? It might have been Eric. Maybe.
I was thinking Eric because I know he uses stuff like that, but it wasn't
I
him.
think it might have been Eric.
It wasn't him who mentioned it. It was definitely someone else. It doesn't matter anyway.
Well, it doesn't really matter. It's an app that when you're at Target, you pull it up and it will scan your items. And when you're in line, and especially even if you got too many items, at least stick with the higher price ones. And it ends up, and then it adds up all of them and combines it into one coupon. And they just scan it, and it takes all the deductions off of all the stuff in your cart.
Wow, that's cool. I wish we still had Target here.
Yeah. I heard Canada lost Target, huh?
Well,
It didn't last long.
I think Target lost Canada. They screwed up. They
Think
screwed
so.
up big time.
Yeah.
Bad
I
distribution.
mean, I guess like your 7,000 people population might be important to some stores, but not Target.
Well,
Come on. They're big players.
Walmart's just sitting here making the dough.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. Just cash it in.
And they get all their stuff from China and kids, impoverished areas.
Oh, it's
so
great. Quality stuff.
You're supporting the slave trade, Kevin. I hope you're happy with that.
I only buy it if it comes from China and it's made with lead paint.
Words to live by, right?
That's right.
Man, why can't I find who that was?
Nobody cares. I'm gonna pull
I
it
know,
out.
I
Nobody
thought he was
cares.
rich, but-
Nobody cares.
That's what I wanted
Honestly.
to say, but I left it.
Nope. Nobody cares. Just forget it. Let's move to the next.
There's-
I mean, I know for sure. I don't care.
Yeah, you would have clicked us off already. You'd have been like, "Fuck this."
Yeah.
I'm hitting skip right now.
I'm going to the
forward 10
models.
seconds.
It was episode 13, I think, which was NJ Retro. That doesn't sound right. Curtis NJ Retro. He talked about some Target gift card. That's not it. Doesn't matter. All right. So where's my friggin' outline here? Story time. So, Chris, do you have any stories? You never have stories.
How about our guest talk? Kevin, do you have a story about Babos? Any update with Babos?
Well, that's the reason why I had to mute you, because he was coming in. So and he ignored me this time. So it's just how it goes.
Now,
So,
let me ask you. Let me interview you a little bit here, Kevin. So, when Babos comes in and he ignores you, now does that make you actually feel bad? Like maybe?
Well, no, I'm training someone right now, right? So they're actually over at the console right now. So he came in and he was focused on him and he talked to him. Where I'm kind of like I'm around the corner and I'm kind of hidden behind, and I don't think he can see very well. So I'm kind of in the dark.
So how tall is Babos? I'm trying to get a visual of Babos. How tall is he?
I'm not sure. I'm only sitting down when I.
No, you've never like stood next to Babos?
No, I have. He's probably about 5'8".
5'8". All right.
He's a nice guy. He's a really nice guy. It's just.
I know, but listen. I'll give you my version of Babos. I used to have when I was real early 20s. I used to manage a Chevron, and there was this guy that came in. We referred to him as Coffee Guy because he would come in and buy one cup of coffee, and then stand there for like 2.5 hours just talking to us. And he was the boringest guy. I mean, he was a nice guy. I mean, there's nothing wrong with him, nothing vindictive. smelled fine. You know, like he didn't do anything wrong, but he was just so damn boring. And you would feel obligated to talk to him because he's like right there. And then, you know, as a gas station attendant, you know, or at least I do, when people would come in, I would engage them in conversation, even if it's quick, just, I don't know, something to entertain me. I didn't even care if it entertained the customer because they're going to come, they need gas. I don't care. If I got a good laugh out of it or something, I would do it. And sometimes he would like step on my joke or butt in, and I hated Coffee Guy. And then, so it was so strange because I worked at that store for like 2 years, and then I left and I worked at I managed a different one, right? Which was like the guy's brother. And they were completely different areas. It's like 40 miles, well, probably 30 miles apart. 2 different towns. One was Kingsburg, one was Fresno, but they're completely different areas. Like, one was right off of a major highway, one was nowhere near a highway. You understand what I'm saying? Like, there's no reason for this to happen. So I'm working there, and I'm getting to know my new coworker. Me and him are getting a rapport down. We're chatting it up, and then all of a sudden, fucking Coffee Guy comes in.
Stop.
And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, he doesn't know I work there. It's just a coincidence. But I'm like, I can't believe this. Coffee Guy is here. What the fuck? And there was another customer that used to come into the Kingsburg place that he stunk really bad. And I don't even want to describe what he stunk like because it's very descriptive. But it's a very distinct, specific smell, okay? And anytime he came into the store, it didn't matter where I was at. I knew he was in the store. That's how strong his odor was. It was a very strong smell. And I would smell him. And it was gross because even after he left, it would linger for good 5-10 minutes, like the episode of Seinfeld almost. It stayed. If he got into your car, it would never leave. Okay. So now flash forward 4 years or whatever it was, I'm at this other store, and I'm like at the very remote part. Like I couldn't be any further from him in the store, right? Where he was. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And I turn around and there he was. And he had like this creepy white van, and I don't know. It was strange, but those were my bosses. I couldn't get rid of these people. I literally switched towns, completely different area codes. And they were...
I remember when you said you were going to let Kevin talk. That was funny.
Well, I mean, at least I got content.
Yeah. Speaking of which, episode 23, Johnny Iucci was the red card.
And still nobody cares.
You knew Derek was going to find it.
I can't not find it. All right. Yeah, any stories, Chris?
That was my story.
That was a good story. I like it.
All right. I got nothing. I already told 2 stories today. We're good. So discussion topic, collection update. This is a section we sometimes skip, but so I am up. I'm first, by the way. I'm up $562 in my video game budget now. I need to find something that I want to buy. I literally can't even think of anything. I was seriously considering buying a second Switch because I want to get this money spent on something video game related. I was thinking me and my son could play together. It'd be fun. But
save it for the new consoles. Like the new consoles
they're going to be a new Switch at the end of the year.
Let's say a new Switch comes out. Am I going to go buy a Switch? No, I want a deal on it.
So then buy the old Switch when the new Switch comes out.
I guess maybe when people fire selling. Yeah, maybe.
You got like 3 months to go, dude. It's going to be what? September or October, something like that. It's not that far away when they're going to release this new Switch.
Yeah, maybe. We don't even know what the new Switch
is. They haven't announced it yet, but on the rumor mill.
Or portable only one first, though, is what people are rumoring, which means
and you know what? I tell you what, I still haven't played mine in the dock, and I've owned it for I don't know, a year and a half.
More than I play it out. I don't know.
I've never put it in the dock.
But I have a list of games that I want, and I could just go buy them all on eBay. But am I actually going to play them? I don't know. That's the other problem, is having time to actually play these things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You could tell Kevin's really engaged in that Switch talk.
I love the
I was
Switch.
relating to that last part though about actually playing them, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I was not. I was the complete when I had the Switch. I was the complete opposite. I never played it. I played it handheld once, and I couldn't stand it. I didn't like the little thumbsticks. Screen was too small. I liked playing Mario on the big TV with the Pro controller.
Yeah, me too.
But then once the only problem with it was once I was done with Mario, I didn't have another game to play. So,
Did you play Zelda on the Wii U then?
yeah, I had Breath of the Wild. I already played on it.
Yeah.
So,
There was no difference other than the DLC. DLC was pretty good.
the DLC came out for the Wii U as well.
Did it?
I'm pretty
Okay,
sure-
I
pretty sure.
didn't know it did.
But I never played the
Yeah, I
DLC.
guess there was no difference at all then. I didn't know that it came out.
No.
I actually played 3/4 of it on the Wii U, and then when I bought my Switch, I just said, you know what, I'm just gonna
Sure.
do it
I
all again.
played it several hours on the Wii U, and then I started playing again on the Switch. I don't usually do that. I don't usually buy on multiple consoles either, but Zelda I wanted to just because.
Yeah. Well, and plus I got the big box Zelda. Like it came in like a big box with a map in it from Walmart, and it was like $30 or whatever. I was like, oh yeah, I'll do that. It was cheaper than the small It was weird. Like some deluxe edition at Walmart was cheaper than the regular edition at Walmart. The regular edition was like $60, and this one was $30. They were trying to blow it out. It's the exact same edition. It just came in a box, a big box that came with a map and explorer's guide and some other shit.
That's Explorer Edition. So
Yeah,
that's
it's the same thing.
I got a deal on it. I got a trade from VG Collectaholic. So that's the only reason I picked it up on Switch. I couldn't remember why I picked it up on Switch, but it was because VG Collectaholic had wanted some of my games, and when I saw that in his trade pile, I'm like, sure, sounds great. We can work that out. So
that's how I got my collector's edition or explorer's edition as well.
right?
Yeah, through Scott.
Yeah, I had C3 last year.
Yeah.
Yep, me too.
And I still have it. I sold the Switch, but I still have Mario Odyssey and Zelda. I don't know what, because I think at some point I'm probably going to get the Switch again, and those games will probably be the same price. So,
will you replay them or not?
probably not. I don't know. I did have them on my table at Buried Game Exchange.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, but they didn't move. So,
Well,
still
what if
stuck.
they added some DLC or something?
maybe I would play. I already erased my
You gotta
card.
buy the DLC though. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So what?
I
It's
don't
like
know.
buying a new game, like for cheaper.
But it's not a new game.
It is. If you sometimes like the Spider-Man comes with like a whole new mission for
Yeah.
PlayStation 4.
I never
Like
finished
a
the game to begin with
game.
yet. That's my problem is time. I haven't even finished Spider-Man yet, so
That
don't
game
know.
was really good.
It is good.
I mean, I'm not comparing it to whatever. There's always someone this game is better. I don't care. I really enjoyed that Spider-Man. It was just fun, just swinging around and fighting
I like
people.
collecting random junk and beating up people. I don't even care about getting
Yeah,
missions.
I must have redid those same missions in like you would go into like a construction area and fight like 60 dudes or whatever, and I found it therapeutic. It was very relaxing.
Like too, once you get a handle on the combat, because I found the combat a little bit weird.
But once you get it down, it feels very natural.
I am a little bit worried about going back to it because I won't have it down again.
Yeah, but just start off in a smaller
Yeah.
fight and you'll get it back down. I know I hate that because I went back to play Zelda recently and I was like, fuck, I forgot everything.
Yeah, its controls are weird too on Breath of the Wild. Really weird controls.
I was hoping they would make like an Iron Man game based on the same engine as that Spider-Man. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be cool.
The only thing with Iron Man is that like he can fly. He can fly away from the
Anywhere
city.
that
Yeah, like Spider-Man's
Yeah,
pretty much stuck in
Spider-Man can kind of fly anywhere too, though.
as long as there's buildings, so that's why they put water all around, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess, but I mean, you would. I see what you're saying. I mean, you would find the limit at some point.
Yeah,
Iron
that's,
Man-
they don't want to do that with games these days. They don't want to have an invisible wall because it breaks the immersion or people get angry. Right? Sometimes that happens.
Iron-Man's
I bet
not
if they put out an Iron Man, people would love it.
Yeah, but he's just not a city hero. He's an America hero. He's like all over the place.
Hey, well, do a Grand Theft Auto thing where you have a big ass map. I think the new
Sure.
Grand Theft, from what I was reading, the new Grand Theft Auto is supposed to be the world. They're not even going to just focus on the couple states
Oh, really?
anymore. It's the damn world.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Right.
I thought, dude, that's going to be awesome. There goes about 6 months of my life.
Good times though. I love those games.
All right, collection update. Anything else new, Chris? You finished? No.
I got that Castlevania box too. Well, it's actually complete. A buddy of mine, he found this in a storage locker. It's really clean too. And what was kind of cool is, I mean, I post on it on Twitter, but it's the you can win a trip to Dracula's castle or hometown, and I actually have the little insert card. It had everything in it but the insert card, and I just happen to already have the insert card, so that was kind of cool. So I completed it.
Hey, you never heard back from Charlie about those manuals, did you?
From who?
CJR?
Yeah. Well, sort of.
Okay. I'm just curious.
It's okay. Yeah, I know he took a lot of stuff and he traded it to some game store and all that. I really didn't expect him to have any.
Game stores don't take manuals. Maybe it's possible. It's a different game store.
I'm 100% positive that he took manuals to a game store and traded it in because I saw it in his Instagram stories. You're just not in the know, dude.
I watched him trade in a bunch of strategy guides, but I didn't think I saw any manuals. But who knows?
All right.
I don't see every Instagram store.
I just know that he doesn't. I only need like 50 something manuals now for the NES set. So it's not.
You ever did follow up or not? Because otherwise,
no. What I do need to follow up on is with Joel. If you're listening, Joel, come on, send me those manuals. I think he's waiting because he's coming to Vegas next month. I might go meet him in Vegas. He better bring the manuals though, or I'm not coming.
CC Joe?
Not Joe. Joel. I wasn't
Joel.
talking properly.
Joel, yeah, Joel.
Sorry, Joel.
Yeah. Well, message him.
I know. I sent him the
news
of Pro Jared a few minutes ago.
At least it wasn't yourself.
No, it was Pro Jared nudes. I would never send him
Open up your message with random dicks.
Charge you for that shit.
Yeah. All right. Collection update. Anything else? Was there? Did you finish N64? I don't remember now.
Yep, it's finished. I did that at SoCal. I was actually telling the story, but you and CJR were having your love fest, and you couldn't hear a word I said, so I stopped talking.
Maybe you're in
I'm 100% serious. I was talking, and you guys were just talking to each other. I'm like, I'll just watch the basketball game or football game or whatever the hell was on TV.
I like that episode. That was a good episode.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't talk as much.
I couldn't believe the amount of people that CJR was throwing under the bus. It was interesting.
Yeah, he did do that a few times.
Yeah, it was good. Good times. You don't hear that enough in podcasts.
I did block out that one guy's last name, but that was it.
Right. But there was a lot there that I was like, wow, I hope these guys. Well, actually, I do hope that they listen to this show.
All right, Kevin, anything for your collection? Do you want to say anything? You're selling off games? Are you building a collection? What are you even doing?
No, I haven't really been picking up that much. I mean, I picked up Diablo on GOG.
Digital games don't count on this show.
Well, okay, actually, I did buy a couple of physical games. I bought we have a chain here. They're kind of like the Walgreens of Canada, Shoppers Drug Mart. And they have a little video game, like just a few video games, and they're usually like way overpriced. You know, like they're still selling Wii U games at full retail. But for some reason, I went in there the other day, and they had just random games, $10. So I was able to get Need for Speed Payback on the Xbox One for $10, and Far Cry Primal on the PS4.
Okay. Did they have Wii U games included that or not?
There was a few, but it was like Lego World. It wasn't like anything Mario or anything like that.
I was only curious because I think I saw that Steven Heider picked up something from that as well, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. So I mean, go check out your
shoppers. Yeah.
Go check out your local shoppers because they all have random stuff in there. And it wasn't like everything was $10. It was just like these random games. So yeah, that's. I think those are the only two physical games I bought in 2019 so far.
You've sold more than you've bought in 2019.
I definitely have sold. I definitely have on the video game front, anyway.
Yeah.
Down everywhere else.
We don't count records in this show.
Yeah, if you count vinyl records, I'm way in the hole. There's no climbing out of that hole.
All right. So moving on. listener questions. I'm also going to have some questions for you too, Kevin, specifically, just so you know, in case you hadn't read ahead yet. Listener questions. We got, you can tweet at, hashtag DD Answers if you have any questions for us to read in the next show. You can also ask in the Cartridge Club forums or the Dollar Dorks podcast or in the YouTube comments if you're watching this on YouTube. So our first question is from Darren. He is fairly new around our Cartridge Club type people. He seems to have bought from Hodge before. He lives near Hodge. It's at one Darren _, and he had questions, he had a comment and questions. He said, "Hey boys, with the help of your awesome pod, I made my first eBay sale. Questions for you. How long do you leave an item before price drop?" Is question number one. Chris, you got any thoughts on that?
I had Hollow for a year, but it really just depends on what it is. If it's an item that you feel like has the ability to sell, or it's a niche item that doesn't have a lot of completed sales. So I guess the answer is, how bad do you need money? If you want it gone quick, then just start playing the lower the price game. If not, let it sit. I mean, really, it's just up to you. Also, when you're in the early stages of your eBay account, you only get a X amount of listings, and you might want to think of that too. So if you have something that's going to sell quicker, then delist the one item, sell the other stuff. If it's not selling, just it comes down to how much did you invest in it. I mean, if it was something really cheap, there's items that I bought that I listed, it didn't sell, I threw the stuff right in the garbage. I didn't care. You know what I mean?
I took a look at his eBay because he gave us his account for, you asked him about that. And based on his prices of stuff and what he's selling, I suspect he's just selling stuff from his own collection that he doesn't want anymore. And his prices seem pretty good. Like he sold Mario 3D World for Wii U for $16 Canadian. That's his first sale.
That's right.
Okay, so I here's the problem with, he's starting off, so he's going to have to really crush the market in order to get people to take a chance on him.
Yeah.
You want to get those early feedbacks, and the best way to do it is to undercut the market. So think about what the market is, try to beat it by 10 to 20%, start off with that. That's a good, that's a good way to go about it, to start it off. I mean, you don't want to devastate the market because you might want to sell more in the future, but, it bounces back. So it's really up to you, man. You might want to make a big bundle and try to push all. My first big sale was a huge lot of ColecoVision games there were some rare games involved, and I could have pieced them out, but I was looking at how they were selling. So I made one big sale made it too big. It was big for me, which also helps because part of escalating your account is also the monetary amount as well. You have to at least hit like 400 before they will. It's like 420 sales, or it's I don't know if the combination has changed, but at the time it was like 20
I looked that up and none of that showed for some reason.
Right, but there used to be a combination. Like it was like 20 sales and $400, and then they would start releasing your money instantly to you, and they would also increase your listings from 10 to 50. Now I know another one of our questions, I don't want to jump ahead here, dealt with that, and
that's his next question.
Right. So if you want to get your listings increased, first off, you got to have a track record. They're not going to do it just because you ask, but if you get a few items sold and you get some feedback, or at least no complications, you can always call eBay and ask them to increase your amount, and they will, or they won't. But it doesn't cost anything to call them other than a little bit of time. So the best way to get your account up to speed is to sell more items. So find things. Media is always going to be the easiest thing to sell on eBay, or at least for a novice. All right. Get a bunch of desired games on there, beat the market, you'll sell it, you'll get your feedback, ship it fast.
Don't lose money on it, but...
Well, don't lose money on it, obviously. Make sure you're still making a profit, but, I mean, sometimes in the early stages of eBay, break even is good. If your goal is to be an eBay seller, breaking even is fine. And even like a Walmart, like a loss leader, I mean, if you're not losing your ass on it, you can also, because some people consider it. I remember when I first started buying manuals on there, I would see manuals that were $1 shipped, and they were shipping in first class. So they were
Mhm.
losing money on every sale, but they were doing it in order to gain sales on their account. They didn't care.
Yeah, you
They were
mentioned that
using it
before.
as kind of a way to gain credibility.
Yeah, his
gain
feedback right now is only 8, and it's all from purchases. That person who bought from him the Mario game has not left feedback yet. That
Well,
could be
you
also
might wanna
another
message
tip is
them.
to, yeah. Go ahead. Oh, you froze up.
Dude, that's cool.
You totally
Fine
froze.
if you want to do that, but you can also. Okay, I know you did too. I know that you like to leave messages in your packages, right? Like, hey, thank you, give me some feedback. You can also message them directly. Hey, it helps. Oh, I hope you liked your order. Thank you for buying. If you don't mind, if you have a few minutes, please give me 5-star positive feedback. It really helps. And most people will do it. It doesn't hurt.
Yeah. Also on his listing that he had here, I should have checked his other ones. I was going to say just a tip. He didn't take a picture of the underside of the disc, and I would with disc-based games just because people are skittish on buying disc-based games. You can't usually see scratches on games in pictures
You can
anyway.
angle it to show some. If you angle it correctly, you could see something. If there's a scratch, try to angle it in a way that shows the scratch.
Yeah, but
also,
nothing. I'd still take the photo just to prove that there's no scratches, even if they just for confidence wise, even if it's hard to see.
Also, if it's a more higher end, take the time, stick it in the machine, take a screenshot, take a picture of it working, because it does help you when they try to open up a case or something. Because like especially like Dreamcast games, I mean, you can copy those and burn them and play them right into the Dreamcast.
He's got Dino Crisis PlayStation 1, which he's got priced at $25, and it says 2 views per hour, which is the same as you had on your freaking game. I don't know if that's good or not, but it seems
not bad.
Yeah,
2 views an hour. I mean, that's 48 views a day.
Correct. That's great. But on that one, I'd add a picture in the bottom, and since it's a $25 game, I'd add a picture of it running on the system, like Chris said. That would help probably. Just people see it works. Yeah. It boosts confidence anyway, especially since your feedback is low. People may not be confident to just trust that it works without you specifically saying that it works. So wouldn't hurt. So the next question he had was about, he said, how can I list more items? I'm only allowed 10. And yeah, so for you, eBay accounts created now, you're limited to 10. And there's an article about this from eBay titled Limits on eBay Sellers. I'm using ebay.ca since he's Canadian. It says you have 3 different types of limits on eBay accounts. There's an account limit, there's the category limit, and the item limits. But the basic thing about how to get it increased, what they say is if you meet all 3 of these criteria, so it has been 90 days since you received your first feedback for a successful sale. So you need to get feedback.
3 months,
right? Going to start counting down. And then you do not have any unresolved cases. That means like people's complaint cases. And your detailed seller ratings are at least 4.8 in all areas, which means the feedback people give you, right?
Right. And I've known people who's had people buy from their account, like their friend, like, hey, buy this thing and I'll pay the fees or whatever and give me feedback. I mean, there's ways around it. I mean, it's a little shady, but I mean, if you're just trying to get your
service, but
well, if you know you're a good seller and you're going to be honest, I don't see no problem of trying to circumvent the system a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. So if you want to find more details, it's called Limits on eBay Sellers in the eBay help. There may be more limits. Like I said, there's 3 different types of limits, and that was just the one that I found most easily how to remove those limits.
Hey, M. Night Shyamalan's in the front row on the 76er game.
You mean the Toronto Raptors game?
Well, the Raptors are getting their ass whooped right now, so I would say it's the 76ers game.
Raptors are still up in the series for another 4 minutes.
Yeah, not anymore. I actually prefer the Raptors in this matchup. I hope they win, but they're not going to win tonight.
All right, next up in sports talk.
I wait, I got a tip for Darren.
Oh yeah, go ahead. You did look.
If so, what you do is you go onto eBay and you find the seller Bilten, Bilten, and just do the exact opposite of whatever he's doing. Just look at his photos and just don't do any of that, and you'll be fine.
Oh boy!
Pro tip.
Shots fired.
Great.
Shots fired.
He loves it. His name got mentioned on a podcast.
Yeah, someone will buy something from him now, and it'll be because of us.
Exactly.
Somehow I suspect he's brushing his hair and he hears this and he just like drops the brush and it's like, you son of a bitch. You know.
He's got a lot of remotes for sale. All right, let's move on. Okay, so a question from Eric at Mighty Q Dog. Having a continuously running eBay sales operation seems to require a permanently set up preparation area. What kinds of setup do you have? What equipment do you recommend? How much space, square feet, does your area require? Very Eric question in like very factual. Chris, do you have a dedicated area for your eBay preparation?
Yeah. Even though right now it's a little messy, I'm in the stages of rearranging some stuff, but I have a small room. As far as what it is, maybe it's 8x6. I don't know. It's a very small guest room, and I have boxes in there. I have my computer in there, and a lot of times what I like to do, especially when I'm being super productive and efficient, when I list the item, I'll put it in the box, wait, I get everything going, I tape the box up, and I'll write on the box what it is, and so it's ready to go. So whenever I sell it, all I gotta do is slap a label on it. And I have my tape in there, I have scissors for if I need to cut anything, and paper and printer. So it's all in one room, but it has spread into other rooms. But I am actually working on consolidating it back to that one room. It really just depends on how big of a seller you are. I mean, a buddy of mine, he's got it in his garage. I mean, he's got racks and he's got things on it. He has a system, and he's got he's got all of this boxing material and packing material out there, and it's really slick. You know, it's a good setup. I would recommend that if you're a little more serious. If you're more on the novice end who's selling, 20 items a month or 10 items a month or something like that, then a little closet would even work. But I would say definitely when you list it, get a bunch of good pictures, box it up, tape it up, write on the box. You can always put the label right on top of what you wrote. Yeah, you don't want to put it on a spot where like now it's out there and someone's like, hey, whoa, PlayStation. You know what I mean? Obviously put it in the air, or you can always go back with a marker and mark it out. But, I like to put on the box. You could do that too. Sticky note. I mean, as long as it sticks on there, sure. Yeah. If it falls off, you're going to have to open that tape up again. But either way, you still have a big chunk of you don't even have to tape the box closed. You can leave the box where you can open it back up if you want to. But at least you have it ready to go. You could, I know I know Eric's a real organized kind of dude. So this really kind of goes up this would really be great for him. You have your designated area. You've listed, now it's ready to go. When you sell it, your printer, everything's good to go. Print the label, get it out. That's the best way to go about it.
It's the Q Dog house, so I'm sure they have a room you can dedicate just to that.
Well, I'm sure he has an office set up in that office space where your printer and your computer.
Duplicate? It's the Q Dog house. You got tons of room. Just build another floor in between your other two floors, and you can make some room right in between. So I don't have a dedicated area. I have shit spread all over the place. I have inventory all over the place. I only have one thing that's actually boxed and ready to go, which I do not recommend. I don't recommend my way of doing things. I do have in my garage boxes ready to go. Like boxes broke down and ready to be used. I have various sizes that I've saved from like Amazon purchases or anything else I order from China or whatever else. Yeah. Then I've got bubble wrap coming out the wazoo. I've got way too much bubble wrap, but I'm prepared. I've got
airbags. I love those airbags.
Those airbags from Amazon and from other places. I even have a coworker who gave me a box. She ordered tea online, and it came in a box with those airbags in it. And she brought it to work and said, "Hey, Derek, do you want this? I know you sell on eBay." She's actually the one that I sold a bunch of games for. So yeah, she gave me that, and that's great. And then I also have peanuts that someone was giving away on Kijiji, a bag of packing peanuts. So I'm ready with those too. I've got rolls of tape, but they're in a different room because I use them for other stuff. What else I got? I got, you have a Sharpie handy if you need it. I have my little thank you notes saying, please leave a review by my desk over here where the tape is. What else? Inventories, like I said, is all over the place. What else? Oh, photographing area. You should probably have something like that. I typically do mine on the kitchen table because it's the best lit room in the house, especially at nighttime when there's no sun interrupting. And it's a nice wooden table, so everybody knows what to expect when you're looking at a wooden table, as opposed to if you put it on a carpet or on a chair, and you never know if someone wonders if the button in the chair is included or some stupid thing like that. So I just try and do that and try and be consistent with my background too. Not that it matters, but it just looks a little more professional. Looks like Bill actually has a pretty good area for photos. Not to compliment Bill too much, or else Kevin might tell me not to do what he does.
Oh, I'm sure he got all those off of the Google image.
All the photos, yeah.
Yeah. Pretty sure.
But don't do that either.
As I said, do the exact opposite of what he did.
All right. So the other question, I actually meant to look up this guy because I recognize his photo, but I don't know him. I think it might have been a Polykill guy or Polykill fan. I don't remember. Anyway, his name is Blink. Blinkoom at Blinkoom on Twitter. Blinkoom. He says, "What item do you have that's been sitting around the longest, waiting to be sold?" I have an answer for that. Why have you taken so long to get it listed or sold? We're gonna ask Kevin. Do you have anything you have been off selling?
Yeah, I got a few things. The top two, I got these Elvis Presley records.
I remember. Yep.
Yeah, they're British imports, and so they're a little more. They're a little more. And yeah, I don't know. I've had them for like a few years now, and I can't find the right buyer for them. So I think that's why.
But they are listed, or they were listed.
They were listed, and yeah, I suppose I should list them again at some point. But I think that's the problem. It's like it's a niche item for a niche person, right? That's you got to hit it at the right time. So there's that, and then there's these. I got 2 Pokemon games for the Nintendo DS. It's the ones of silver and something. I don't know. It has like the pedometer in it.
Yep.
They're
Heart
all
gold.
Yeah, they're all complete
Soul
in
silver.
box. I got them.
Shit, it's worth so much money.
Well, I got them super cheap. It was when Staples was getting out of gaming. They were selling stuff, and I saw those too, and I'm like, okay, I'm buying that, and I got them home. And of course, it was final sale because we're not doing video games anymore, so you can't bring us back. And I got them home, and I looked at them, and there are the French versions of the games.
Yep.
So to sell them locally would be next to impossible. I need to put those on eBay and try. Hopefully, somebody in Quebec.
Have you Googled it? See if the game is actually still English.
I'm pretty sure everything is French. Like the game itself, everything is French.
I think the pedometer.
Pedometer is fine. The pedometer can that's just like
languages, right?
Right. But the game itself, all the text and everything in the game is French. They're actually from France. They're imports for France to sell in Quebec. And how a Staples in Ontario got them, I don't know.
Honestly, I sell so many games to Quebec. You'd probably do fine selling them on eBay.
Yeah, I probably would. But so that one is been sitting around for so long because I'm too.
And they're still sealed?
They're still sealed. Yeah, I've never opened them.
Because if that game was English and sealed, I swear you'd get like $200 for it.
I know, but they're French, so I don't know.
Even if you got 50 for it, you'd be happy that they were just gone.
Yeah, exactly.
You could almost listing with both of them on eBay for like $150.
The other thing, like they're kind of awkward. They're like for put in a box or something. I have to find like the right box to put them in so they don't get damaged or whatever.
Make your own box is good too.
Yeah. Like it's just laziness. That's pretty much it. That's the only reason. But if I had them like for the Buried Game Exchange, if they were in English, I probably would have sold them already.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, I sold one of them locally, not sealed, so obviously it's for less money. But still, I think I sold it for over $100 without the outer box for Heart Gold. If I can find it, Heart Gold, Pokewalker, $90.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, just the game in the normal case and the Pokewalker on the side. So, I mean, it wasn't French, but still.
Yeah.
Okay. So what about you, Chris? Anything you haven't posted sitting around?
Well, I don't know. That seems kind of boring. The one thing I had the longest on my in my selling or on my listings is I have a copy of Gyromite that didn't have a label, so I drew a stupid picture of Rob.
Yeah, I've seen that.
That thing has literally gotten probably 8,000 views over the last couple of years. I don't lower the price because I don't care. I think it's funny. People like search up Gyromite, they see that, and then they go to. I feel like it's almost like a fishing lure or something. It's just out there. It's just drawing people in. I've had this guy like offer me so many times, like, will you take $20 shipped? I want to frame it and put it in my game room. I'm like, no, pay the $29. I don't care. Pay the $29. Like the Famicom adapter, I could take the adapter out and sell for $20. You want the art? Give me the other $10 for the art. So that's an original piece, man. It's one of a kind.
I'm not gonna lie, it's tempting for me to have said put that in a box when you send me the Melissa thing. Just to have it on the wall, like you said.
Yeah. No, it's shit, I have it sitting around here somewhere. I don't know. Yeah, it's been a fixture in my house for quite some time, and I don't plan on just giving it up cheap. I was being honest with the guy. I'm like, dude, this is something I would more like. I don't mind keeping it. So if you want to buy it, you have to pay for it. I'm not gonna give it to you. But I get a message from him like once every couple of months. He's trying to see if I'll crack.
He's adamant.
He wants it.
I've got mine right here. It's been sitting right here for a while.
Furby.
It's the Furby. It was a Canadian exclusive Furby. Bill had one and sold it for quite a bit of money, and then it got returned to him. But they still seem to sell. I just have not listed it. Part of the problem is it's sitting beside my computer here, which is in the corner of the room, and it's on the side over here where I never actually look unless I'm sitting at the computer. So I always forget to post it. I can't remember what the hell it's called now. It's a Furby something or other, but oh my god, it's got like a rubber mouth on it, which is kind of creepy. But that's part of the thing that makes it unique. It has these gigantic feet that the regular Furby doesn't normally have. I just need to fucking list it, but it'll happen sometime. I'm actually really happy that I sold the. There you go.
Yeah, there it is. See, that's the original art. Look, you got Rob flipping the bird there. Rob is a dick. That's an original piece by me. I drew it one time.
Come on, it's got an end label. That's great.
Yeah, end label. See? You know what it is? It's heavy. Look, it's got this like sun faded pea stained look to it. That's original. You'll never get another cart that looks like that. 5-screw. Comes with a dust cover. I never give these things away. Yeah. This is art, man. This will be any true collector would be proud to have this in their games room. So $30. It's yours. I'll ship it to your house. Not you, Derek. You're not gonna get that shit. Yeah, I'll charge you like $80. Anybody else? Your neighbor, I would sell it to your neighbor for $30.
There you go. All right, I can buy it off eBay, and what the hell are you gonna do about it? Cancel the sale? Anyway,
you'll have to use the global shipping program.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yep. All right. Why is it taking so long to get it sold? We kind of already explained that. The Furby, I'm just dreading doing the listing and also keep forgetting where it actually is that I have it. All right, let's move on. Yeah, what?
If there's something that you haven't sold for a long time and you're wondering why it hasn't sold, your price is wrong. There's either something wrong with your account, like you have shitty feedback, people don't trust you, and if that's not the issue, your price is wrong. You just have to adjust your price. And there's sometimes you got to cut your losses. If it's going to cut into your profit, I mean, what's cost you more? The space, the time, what?
So I have these shoes, which I've mentioned several times. These Nikes that are clearly they look a lot like Sailor Moon colors. They're a white Nike shoe, high tops. They got a gold Nike symbol, blue, like shiny blue on the toe and up the laces, and pink from the back and pink on the tip of the toes. Like, they are unique, and I can't believe they're not selling. Only thing I can think of is the size is weird or something. They are technically
one of those things where might as well just drop the price and cut your losses and get it the hell out of your house.
Started them over $100 and they're down to $70 now. But no watchers, nobody messaging, anything like that. It's annoying. They're technically a size 6 youth, but they're the same as a 7.5 women's, which is not that uncommon as far as I understand. They're also Japanese exclusive, so I don't understand, but they look cool. My wife wants to keep them still. I keep telling her she doesn't need them. But they've been listed on eBay for quite a while now.
All right, I have a question for you. How's the quickest way to search for a seller? I forgot. I haven't done it in so long.
On the app or on the...
No, just like a desktop. I'm on it on my phone on the desktop thing.
So on the desktop, I find it always terrible. But if you go to advanced, right across, they have advanced, and then you should have the option. So under sellers, which is right below location, there's only specific items or only
by sellers. I got it. I got you right there by sellers. So now you gotta enter the keyword here. Right? Okay, go ahead. I just thought it might help the listeners.
Sure. You're clearly looking up.
It also helped me too. I haven't looked it up in so long. It's like I forgot how to do it.
Okay. All right, next question. Canadian Retro, at Canadian_Retro. What to do when stuff on eBay isn't selling, even at killer greasy trunk deal prices? So for me, if I've got something that isn't selling on eBay, especially specifically games, which I assume he's mainly talking about, I'm going to take it to a local store. I'm going to get less for it, but most stores are going to take stuff, and that'll get rid of it. I haven't had any games. Well, I guess I have those 2 sealed original Xbox games, which aren't selling. One of them's priced a little high. Could probably drop it, but it's just uncharted territory because there's no other ones sold sealed. Anyway, so anything that's not high value, I'm going to take to a store. Like, it's just a generic, there's tons of them made. It's worth $10, maybe $15 at the most. I'm going to take that to a store and get $7 for it and maybe even in-store credit only, and just get it out of my house because I don't need to be dealing with it. Especially if you've tried taking it to a GameSwap already, which is where I'd usually sell that kind of stuff, common games. Yeah. What do you think, Chris?
Well, I mean, if he has it as cheap as he's willing to sell it for, and he can't make any profit on eBay, and the trade-in option isn't a thing, then just forget it. It's not going to sell. I mean, you might have just have that item that nobody wants. I mean, sometimes you just got to cut your losses. It just really depends on what you want to do. But I mean, the trade-in is a great option. Listing it locally on OfferUp or Kijiji or whatever, that's another option. Or just trying to trade it. Maybe you can trade it to somebody who wants it. Get into your groups, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. Maybe you find someone who wants it and do it a different way. But I mean, not everything is eBay worthy. And some items, there's just so much competition. I mean, then you're just fighting. You're racing to the bottom. Like if I were to list a Mario Duck Hunt right now, and there's going to be someone who's willing to sell it cheaper than I am. And now if I lower it to their price, and the new guy comes in, he's going to have to beat our price. And there's 1,000, 2,000 listings, so you're probably not going to get anywhere selling that on eBay. You might be better off trying to sell it on Facebook Market Group or Marketplace or whatever. You know, like, I don't know, just look for other options or bundle it.
Yes, that was what I was going to recommend.
With the console.
Yeah.
Well,
like
or with other games. Slip it in
Yeah.
another pile. Like, if you got one game
true.
and that one game won't sell, slip it in a game with 4 other games and now just increase the price and maybe someone will buy it that way.
I mean, I had a SOCOM headset for the PlayStation 2. I don't even think you could play that game online anymore. I'm pretty sure the server's done for it.
Yeah,
but
probably.
I had it at the last Buried game, like the one previous to this past one, and no one even looked at it. This time I put it with the game and the console, and the whole bundle sold. I don't even think she wanted the headset and the game, but it came with it, and it's gone now. I don't have to.
Okay. If you hadn't had the game and you had only the headset and even maybe the console, I probably would have taken the headset and just donated it to a thrift store.
Yeah, you can do that.
Like, say I had a bunch of stuff to donate, at least you can get a coupon out of it if you take it to Value Village or some other stores give coupons. I've done that with original Xbox DVD remotes. I've had so many of them, nobody really uses them. I've bundled them with consoles, and I'll still have like one random receiver left over or one random controller with no battery cover on it. So I just donate them to the thrift store. They'll either do something with it or not. I don't really care at this point. If it gets electronics recycled, I'll be happy, right? I do have some games I need to do something with, and maybe a bundle of games is what I should be doing with it. Like Tiger Woods PGA Tour 2010, NHL 08 for PS3. I got them free from James from his trunk deal. He had a whole bunch of games in his trunk he wanted to get rid of. I took all the ones I could to a thrift store, to a game store locally, and traded them in, and we split the money because I did the work and they were his stuff. He was just gonna donate them himself to a thrift store, so I gave him half the money there, and the games the store wouldn't even take is what I'm left over with, which is basically sports games. NHL 11 as well, they wouldn't take. So that's probably a good idea to make a kind of a bundle of games and sell it for someone. Maybe someone gets their PS3 for the first time, or for the first time in a long time, maybe they'll want something like that. It's true. I like it.
So just FYI, like my shift ends at 11 o'clock in about 9 minutes.
Yeah.
All right.
We're wrapping it up.
Let's pick up pace now. So questions for Kevin. I said, how was your experience selling the Video Game Exchange overall?
Oh, it was great. I loved it, and I can't wait to do it again.
I don't know what I tried to type there. Have you
sold there?
You've done it a few times. Yep, sold there a few times. 3. This is the second. Okay. And I got the impression that your last time selling was your best.
Yeah.
Why do you think that was? Any ideas?
Well, I think I placed stuff better on the table for one.
Okay.
I put stuff at eye level. Like, for instance, I had just a ton of manuals that I keep calling manuals, but they're really game guides.
Okay.
Like and they're big, they're bulky, they're heavy. I'm sick of carrying them to these swap meets. I'd love to get rid of them all. So the last one, I had them all in the $5 bin that I had underneath the table. Just whatever, take these $5 each. I didn't move one. I actually gave one to Pam. Just because there was like one
just
left.
get rid of it. Yeah.
Right. This time I got some little folders, like just magazine rack folders. I got at IKEA. They're just cardboard ones, and I put them in there. I stacked them all up, and they were all at eye level, and I sold a third of them.
Wow.
At the price that was on, like I had like somewhere at 15
Maybe
bucks.
Bill and Joe should be taking some tips from you on not overcrowding your table and not having too much stuff.
Yes. Yeah, you can't do that. And I find that a lot of people, well, yeah, they need their own table, I think. But a lot of people are looking just to spend 10, 15, 20 bucks on games each. So I put those at eye level as well. And I sold, that was the majority of what I sold. And I have to give a shout out to Hodge, who gave me like a really prime spot. I was the second table. And that was just like everybody was passing by my table before they were going. I mean, the table beside, well, there was Hodge's table, then there was a Dungeons and Dragons guy,
yeah.
Right? So I was really like the first video game table.
Yeah.
So that helped.
And if anybody came in the door and turned right, it was Hodge, the Dungeons and Dragon guy, you.
Yeah.
And I realize most people curve right instead of left, especially there, because left was kind of a gap before you hit those tables as well.
Yeah. So, you know, I think those were those
okay.
were the factors, because I pretty much had the same prices, the same inventory.
That's what I kind of thought.
Just location, and then I just learned from the first time where like
your games were really easy to flip through too. You had those drawers of yours that you said you brought from home. Those were really good to flip through because some people do a really bad job with their game displays or games on table.
Everybody came up and flipped through the games. Everybody, even if it was just 4 or 5 games or just the GameCube games, whatever, everyone just flipped through to see what I had. So that was good. It was worth it bringing those wooden pieces, because they take up a lot of room inside of a Rubbermaid container. But
but they help with people flipping through for sure.
Yep.
Okay, so next section is suggested content. Anything you have to suggest? Content, podcast, movie, TV show, YouTube channel, video, anything like that you want people to check out? It's you, Kevin.
Me, I've just been watching a lot of model building stuff on YouTube. There's one guy, Marty's Matchbox Makeovers. He just does Matchbox cars from the 60s. They're like all beat up and everything because kids were playing and the tires are ripped off of them. And I think he's Scottish, but he lives in Australia right now or something like that, because he does a lot of British cars and that. And he just restores them back to their original size. So it's got like he goes through all the steps on how he takes apart these little cars and all that. I have no desire to do it, but he's just very fun and relaxing to watch. Like at the end of my shift, his videos are about 20 minutes long, and it's like I got a 20-minute, before the end of my shift, and I'll just sit and watch one of his videos. It's a nice way to finish off the shift.
All right, cool. I'm going to suggest, even though he doesn't need any more subscribers, he's already got 8 million, but D all my D is his username, D, the letter D all, and then the letter D, like D, the almighty kind of, but his name is, I don't remember, Josh? No, I can't remember. Anyway, he's a scuba diving, metal detecting, clean up rivers guy. He finds jewelry and GoPros and phones. He always returns the phone if he can find the original owner, like if the phone charges and turns on. I think he started finding phones when he was already had over 1 million subscribers, so it was kind of like a nice thing to do. Chris.
Chris he's on YouTube.
Clearly paying attention. Oh, he's looking for his content. That's why.
Yeah.
Anyway, D all my D is his name. Especially for you, NJ Retro. Check him out if you aren't already, because NJ Retro likes metal detecting. Chris, what about you?
There's this show that's winding down. It's a great show. It's called Game of Thrones. If you haven't heard of it, check it out. Also, on YouTube, check out Pro Jared. That's it.
On YouTube or some other site.
Well, you might be able to Google, type in, Pro Jared photos. Put that in the Twitter search engine.
All right. Okay.
Check that out.
So, the plugs, Kevin. Thank you for being on here.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry I'm making you rush here at the end.
That's okay. No
thank
problem.
you. Thank you. We still have the spreadsheets. Let's do this.
Okay, so at BuriedOnMars is Kevin on Twitter. He is Buried on Mars on Twitter, on YouTube. My God, he's one of the hosts of the Retro Fandango podcast and the Quick Save Club. I forgot to put that in there.
Oh yeah, you can give those guys a plug.
Those guys, you're one of them.
Well, I mean, I hang out with them.
Yeah,
it's like
cool you're Quick Save Club adjacent.
Yeah.
And so Chris at CWR2, CWR and the number 2 on Twitter and Instagram. He doesn't have YouTube. Now featuring. Okay, yeah.
And we're gonna have some content coming soon. So
okay, that's your get together with Curtis. You're gonna have some videos. Maybe. Okay. And I am Derek of Two Dorks, TWO Dorks on YouTube. You can check us all out or see us all at the Cartridge Club, cartridgeclub.org, community of gamers, content creators, and collectors, where we all met, basically. Thanks, guys.
All right, look at that, 11 o'clock, right on.
Cha-ching. All right, you guys need any actual break?
Be right back.
Yes, we do.
I guess we could. I'm good. I went to the bathroom before we started recording.
Normal people do. Did he drop his mic and his camera?
He's
Great.
having all sorts of problems.
We get a tour of the
Yeah.
room.
Like,
Oh,
just
the
spin that camera around. See what's going on there.
Put on a rotary motor so we can see the whole
Yeah.
thing.
It'd be like the old time Wheel of Fortune, when they would spin around all the items that you could buy. You probably don't even.
That sounds vaguely familiar.
When Wheel of Fortune, like in the 80s, they would put all their products on these big, giant, like turning stage, and people would have so much money. They'd have like $1,600, and there'd be price tags on all the stuff. So there'd be like a TV for $800.
Yeah.
They'd be like, okay, I'll take the TV for $800. I'll take the bed frame for
Yes,
$150.
I never watched much Wheel of Fortune, but that does sound kind of familiar.
My grandmother watched it.
Yeah,
like,
it used to be more
really
fun now, and they streamlined it.
Yeah.
I used to watch it that way, and then they streamlined it. Then you just got money, and it was funny. Is at the end they always wrap up the differences, like, and I'll take the difference in a gift certificate.
Yeah.
It would always the last of it because they would have like $75 left.
Yeah, it would never work out right. Yeah.
Right,
But it was
or
fun.
they didn't want to buy the bullshit popcorn maker or something that was the last crummy gifts on there, and they'd be like, "Yeah, I'll just take, just put the rest in a gift certificate."
But it was fun to watch because you'd be like, "No, don't pick that. Are you stupid? Pick the Zenith TV. That thing is like worth way more than that.
Well,
It
yeah,
was fun.
I
It
think
was
they
fun.
kind of fucked up because you kind of live vicariously through them in that moment.
There's The
kinda
Price
makes
is
it
Right
hard.
combined with Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah.
Oh, that's overpriced. Don't pick that one.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's what it was kind of like.
That's funny.
Well, is Chris going to the bathroom now? Is this the first thing?
I don't know.
He came back and now he's gone again.
I don't ask Chris questions because he doesn't bother to answer them.
Fair enough.
I have no idea what the title of this episode.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be a good clickbait.
Pro Jared? No.
Jared News. That'd be great clickbait.
Or we just call it "Don't send pics of your dick to underage girls."
Hey, don't be a pro, Jared. I don't know. I'm sure you'll come up with something clever.